Aglorev Magazine Live is brought to you by
Beroga Leilani's Energy Exchange. Express yourself without saying a word. Aglorev Entertainment. Mind, body, soul, energy healing.
You made it! Welcome back to Aglorev Magazine Live, your reliable source for assistance with navigating the 3D. I started this magazine because I knew that Trump was going to change the face of the United States, and in turn, the world. He's erasing and rewriting history, changing and pushing boundaries, literally and figuratively. And no one is stopping him. I've combined this with astrology so that you can navigate and control your portion of reality without fear and anxiety. I threw in some reality show red flags so that you know how to let people treat you, discover your own personal boundaries, and that you do not have to allow certain behaviors just because you saw it on a popular show. Trending topics just to show us the mentality of the time. And then I try to reward you with some light-hearted fun, with film recommendations and comedy. So tune in each week to stay informed and prepared. I'm here for you. If you need further assistance or personalised attention, contact me through my site. This is our last week of Leo season. It definitely flew by. Virgo officially starts Friday night. And as we get closer to Virgo, the Sun gets closer to forming a square with Uranus in Gemini. We might learn some information that forces us to rethink a few things. Uranus in Gemini represents the freeing of our minds, our focus, of the information that we're willing to accept and integrate into our lives. It's the beginning of a new era, collective communication, new ways of doing business, new innovations in the realm of education and education technology. People being a little more independent and radical in their approach to these things. New communities that align with the modern beliefs, but with the square, with the Virgo Sun, we're forced to slow down the process and focus our mental energy on practical matters. Some of our current goals and responsibilities don't need innovation and creativity. Virgo is the mother goddess. There's an instinctual need to shut out the outside noise and to focus on what's in front of us, relying on what we already know, as well as our instincts, to be present enough to observe every detail and to trust our brain to analyze and figure out what the solutions are. Remember, Cancer and Leo are on the opposite side of the zodiac from Capricorn and Aquarius, and Pluto is in Aquarius. Pluto represents total transformation, usually via destruction, chaos, unseen forces, and Aquarius represents the collective society as a whole, the global political economical system, the news, the internet, etc. So there's a lot of massive changes happening on a collective level. And right now, astrologically, we need to be the opposite. We need to be focused on ourselves and on our mind, on our dreams, our family, our goals, things that we need to do to take care of those things. We cannot rely on the collective right now. Technically, that means ignoring issues that aren't personal. However, if you're someone who really cares about things that are happening in the world, use that energy to make it a more personal meaning. Get involved to the point where you can say that it's part of your life, your mission, what you use your time and energy for. that it's not just something you talk about or post about, but rather something you are actively involved in. Cancer wants you to determine your true family and community. Leo wants you to make it into a mission, a purpose, potentially taking on a leadership role to create change. And Virgo wants you to dedicate your time to study and learning so that you can back up your thoughts and decisions with knowledge, data, technique, strategy. Take a break and focus on the things that you are actually willing to be involved in, whether it's your career, your family, your home life, local community, creative work, spiritual work, etc. Jupiter in Cancer promises you that whatever you bring home and consider part of your home and daily life has the opportunity to grow and expand and lead to success. If there is something new that you want to learn to get better at, it's the perfect time to make that commitment, to make it part of your home life. If you have some business or career goals that you've been thinking about and dreaming of, but haven't really been able to make tangible progress, schedule it into your routine. Whatever you make a part of your home life and routine right now will lead to success. What you want to avoid is using your mental energy for things outside of what you're willing to actually work on. Not only will it not lead to nothing, but it will drain your emotion and physically. Do your best to be focused on you, your life, and how you can direct it. You may learn some things that really solidify your priorities. This Virgo season is not going to be like a traditional Virgo season. Most Virgo seasons finds everyone in a state of health, wellness, and repair, organization, refining our schedules and our habits, our diets, and trying to feel more organized and put together as a person. Getting everything in order. However, this Virgo season, we're going to have to try a little extra harder because it's coinciding with our second eclipse season of the year. We have 2 eclipses on average per year, with the possibility of 4 to 6 eclipses per year. There'll be 2 eclipses left before the end of the year. The eclipse cycle will be from August 22nd to October 6th, meaning September is basically our eclipse season, which is Virgo season. For reference, look to your birth chart and the houses that Virgo and Pisces are in for you. These are the 2 areas of your life that you are experiencing the most amount of change for the next 4 to 6 weeks. The Pisces eclipse on September 7th is going to be a full moon lunar eclipse. Full moons bring clarity and foreshadow coming changes. But full moon lunar eclipses bring intense clarity and immediate changes. You will experience this in the Pisces area of your birth chart. You may experience a moment of revelation, an epiphany, clarity or insight that feels good. Friday is the new moon in Virgo, the first of the 2 new moons in Virgo that we are going to experience in the next 30 days. On top of that, it's not just opening up Virgo season, it's also opening up eclipse season. Eclipse season is a powerful time to plant intentions or seeds of intentions related to the Virgo area of your birth chart. These twin moons in Virgo, one being a regular new moon on August 22nd and the second being a new moon solar eclipse in Virgo on September 21st. This is going to be a preview of what we're solidifying through fate, our destiny. If you would like assistance in understanding your personal birth chart, please contact me through my site. Looking for a new relationship after dealing with a toxic or abusive situation can be both exhilarating and nerve-wracking. You want to make sure that your next relationship is healthy, loving, and supportive. And there are certain types of people with traits and behaviors that might sound off alarm bells and raise red flags. I've made a list of 11 types of people to avoid when looking for a new relationship. Number 1 is the controller. Encountering the controller can be a challenge, especially for someone who has a history of dealing with toxic and/or abusive partners. This type of person often displays a strong need to assert dominance and control, creating a chaotic environment. Some red flags to look for in the controller may include an overbearing behavior. People who are controllers like being in charge of things in your life. From your daily plans to big choices, they get upset if things don't go their way, creating a world filled with fear and anxiety. They use isolation tactics. They may attempt to isolate you from your loved ones, so you slowly start to depend on them for support and validation. This can make it extremely difficult for you to seek advice from others, leading you deeper into their web of control, guilt, and manipulation. This person can often use guilt as a tool of manipulation. They twist situations or conversations to make you feel responsible for their emotional behavior. And that can cause a sense of false guilt. Type number 2, the uncommunicative partner. This person struggles to engage in open and honest conversations and lacks emotional intimacy and trust. Some red flags they may exhibit in the uncommunicative partner may include avoidance of emotional conversation or discussions that involve emotions, future plans, or anything of significance or depth. This avoidance slows down the growth of emotional closeness and intimacy within the relationship. There's an inconsistency in engagement. This person shows inconsistency within the relationship, causing uncertainty in you about their commitment or feelings. Defensiveness in conversations when faced with the truth about feelings. The relationship's direction or any emotional depth. The uncommunicative partner can become defensive. They deflect or shut down, making it challenging to address concerns and deepen the emotional connection between the pair of you. Stonewalling is a manipulative tactic they may use also. Type number 3, the narcissist. A trending word online nowadays. But coming across the narcissist can truly be a detriment to your mental health. This person is all about self. Their wants, their needs are the only thing that matters. They truly believe that they're better than anyone else. Avoid this person at all costs. Some of their red flags include a constant need for validation. The narcissist constantly needs and seeks validation and admiration at the expense of your emotional needs. They thrive off of attention and praise to inflate their sense of self-importance. They lack empathy. Empathy isn't a part of the narcissist's behavior. They disregard or minimize your feelings, focusing only on their own concerns or desires. They possess manipulative behavior for self-gain. The narcissist uses manipulative tactics to achieve their goals. They use charm, lies, and manipulate your emotions to bend situations to their favor. Type number 4, the gaslighter. Another popular word on the internet right now. The gaslighter is another type of person you want to avoid in a relationship. Gaslighters manipulate situations, causing you to question your perceptions, memories, and ultimately your reality. Some gaslighters' red flags are their ability to distort reality. This person artfully manipulates and distorts reality, causing you to doubt yourself. They'll insist that what happened in real life didn't actually happen, leading you to feel confused and doubt yourself. They use the blame games and denial. Gaslighters will actually blame you for their own bad behavior. They refuse to take responsibility for their actions and often dodge accountability. This can lead you to feeling guilty and more responsible for situations that aren't even your fault. They invalidate your feelings, often dismissing or minimizing your emotions or experiences, leading you to invalidate your own feelings. This behavior can create a sense of isolation and confusion. Type number 5, the serial cheater. This is someone you must avoid at all costs, especially in a new relationship. If they did it once, they are 95% to repeat it again. Some of their red flags you'll see in the history. They'll have a history of infidelity, a track record of being unfaithful in past relationships. They might engage in repeat instances of cheating, showing a pattern of behavior rather than a one-time mistake. They'll have a zero accountability and no remorse, despite being caught or confronted about their cheating ways. The serial cheater fails to take responsibility for what they've done. They might express remorse superficially, but the behavior doesn't change, prolonging the cycle of unfaithfulness. They lack the ability to rebuild trust, even if they promise to change. The serial cheater struggles to regain your trust. Their repeated betrayal makes it challenging to believe in their commitment to truly change. Type number 6, the overly jealous partner. Jealousy is a normal human emotion. We've all felt it at one point in our lives. However, dealing with the overly jealous partner is intimidating. You shouldn't accept this behavior, especially in a new relationship. Some red flags to look out for in this overly childish partner might be something akin to constant accusations and distrust. The overly jealous partner, they will constantly question your loyalty and accuse you of cheating without any reason behind it. Their lack of trust leads to constant suspicion and monitoring of your relationships with other people. They isolate and control you, and may attempt to isolate you from friends and family, seeking to control your time and emotional dependence. This creates a barrier, making it difficult for you to seek support or maintain healthy social connections outside of this toxic relationship. They will probably use emotionally manipulative tactics like guilt tripping or expressing intense distress to control you, making it a challenge for you to express yourself for you. Type number 7, the emotionally unavailable person. This is one for the anxiously attached people. The emotionally unavailable person is a recipe for disaster. Some of the red flags are they avoid emotional conversations. The emotionally unavailable person avoids conversations about feelings, future plans, or the depth of the relationship. This creates a block, making it difficult to cultivate emotional intimacy. They have inconsistencies in engagement, causing confusion and doubt in you. They might seem distant or disengaged without a clear reason. They withdraw during times of emotional intimacy. Emotionally unavailable partners can withdraw when conversations or situations become more intense or require them to show their vulnerability, leading to a lack of closeness and shared emotional depth. Type number 8. The manipulative charmer. It might seem like they're too good to be true. Ultimately, they use their charm to hide their ulterior motives. Some of their red flags include charming offense. The manipulative charmer presents an initial facade of charm, charisma, and adaptability, tailoring their behavior to match what their partner wants to see. And their mask is inconsistent with who they truly are. They have an adaptive personality. Have you ever been around someone who behaved differently around different people? The manipulative charmer changes their persona based on the situation or people, creating confusion about their true intentions and causing doubt about the specifics of who they truly are. They flatter for control. Manipulative charmers use flattery and praise to gain control over their partner, often implementing deceitful compliments to manipulate emotions and actions. Type number 9. The financially irresponsible partner. One of the top reasons as to why marriages fail is money problems. The financially irresponsible partner is a recipe for disaster, especially when you're in the beginning of the relationship. Some things to look out for in this type are consistent financial instability. The financially irresponsible partner displays a pattern of irresponsibility with money, like overspending, borrowing without repayment, or lacking financial planning skills. This behavior creates uncertainty and stress in the relationship. They avoid financial discussions. This type of partner tends to avoid discussions of or become defensive about anything that has to do with money. They hesitate to talk about money and get in the way of building a stable financial foundation in a relationship. They have a dependency on others. The financially irresponsible partner relies heavily on others, financially showing an inability to manage their own money independently and responsibly. Number 10. The hothead. A person who is quick to react without thinking of the consequences that come from their impulsive actions. This is a hard lesson in dealing with the unresolved anger issues. Some of their red flags include having a short fuse and aggressive reactions. The hothead displays a fast escalation to anger, often over extremely trivial and petty situations. Their reactions can be intense and aggressive, which can lead to feelings of fear within the relationship. There are loads of blame shifting and denial. This type of a person can deflect responsibility, blaming you or others for provoking their anger. They often deny and deflect their behaviors and its impact on you, which in turn won't allow for a resolution. Their anger may create an emotionally unsafe atmosphere within the relationship, leaving you feeling anxious or hurt or afraid to express yourself openly. There could be instances where the anger increases in more intense situations, and they may become physically abusive towards you. They're used to torture. Type number 11. The love bomber. He's whispering sweet nothings in your ear. He showers you with intense love and affection early on in the relationship. You feel like you're floating on cloud 9. Something tells you, this seems too good to be true. And I'm sorry to say that it probably is. Some red flags of the love bomber might be excessive declarations of love. A love poem that constantly declares love in an intense and accelerated manner, saying things like, you're my soulmate, or I've never met anyone like you, after only a few dates. Without taking time to get to know you on a deep emotional level. Building a deep connection takes time, which is the opposite of the love bomber's timeline. Grandiose gestures. This person loves showering you with extravagant and over-the-top gifts, love notes, or even makes elaborate plans for the future. In the initial stages of the relationship, there's no solid foundation of trust or understanding, and any established behavior dissipates over time. They need constant attention and contact. Another common red flag the love bomber displays. They're bombarding you with an overwhelming amount of attention. They want to spend all of their time with you, constantly phoning, texting, or emailing you, not leaving the space for personal boundaries over your life. It's important to recognize red flags in new relationships. Listen to your intuition. Wombs are a life portal and also an internal compass. Yours will let you know what resonates positively with you. You know the feeling. Trust it. It was given to you for a reason. Whether it's a controlling partner, an emotionally unavailable, or the dreaded manipulative charmer, each person has a set of challenges. It's crucial to set boundaries early in the relationship and stand 10 toes down on said boundaries. If you need help with boundaries, check out my book, available on my site. I also offer coaching if you'd like that personal attention. Yes! Jillian Michaels has a bone to pick with the Netflix latest documentary, Fit for TV, the reality of The Biggest Loser. Just days after the explosive docuseries premiered, the fitness trainer, who appeared on the NBC show from 2004 to 2011, but did not participate in the documentary, took to social media to refute a series of claims made by former contestants, co-star Bob Harper, executive producers, and the show's in-house doctor at the time, Dr. Huizinga. One controversial topic Michaels took issue with included claims that she and trainers went against show rules and distributed caffeine pills to contestants. On Instagram, Jillian posted an email chain between Bob Harper, The Biggest Loser's producer, and the doctor, claiming that they were the one who distributed the fat burners and which fat burners and caffeine pills to purchase the contestants. Michael said that one email of many shows that the doctor did approve caffeine pills on many seasons of Biggest Loser. Bob Harper not only knew about the caffeine pills and the stacker fat burner pills, and were actually his suggestions. Additionally, said Michaels, caffeine was never banned on The Biggest Loser. Wild how some folks still lie like it's 1985 before text and email were a thing, she added. The last image shows an alleged text message she sent to Harper, who claimed in the documentary that Michaels never reached out to him after he had a massive heart attack in 2017. And the last image in my second to last text ever to Bob Harper, take it from it what you will, she wrote, alongside a screenshot of an alleged text to Harper in 2014. I really think it's shitty of you to not even respond to my texts. It's this kind of thing that always makes me so disappointed. May our SIC relationship. The text reads, in the documentary, Harper claims Michael seemed to have ghosted him and their friendship. How do I put this? People were always like you and Jillian have been so close, and I was like, well, we were really close on television, he said, after I had my heart attack. She's the one person I never heard from. So I mean, that I That to me spoke volumes. It was one of the hardest things I've ever gone through. I was dead on the gym floor for 9 minutes. In a separate Instagram post, Michaels refuted another major claim made in the documentary. In response to the claim in the documentary that she told a contestant at the show's finale, "You're going to make me a millionaire." "I want to state unequivocally that this is false," she wrote, alongside more receipts. The full moment was captured on camera, and both the contestant and I were wearing microphones. If such a comment had been made, it would exist on the audio record. Two of the show's executive producers, Mark Coops and Dave Broom, have been provided written statements in text messages to my business partner, confirming that this exchange never occurred. She added, for clarity, below are the texts verifying that no such comment was ever made. That's not all. Former contestants also alleged that they were encouraged to eat less than 1,000 calories a day to lose more weight, an allegation Michaels vehemently denies, with respect to the allegation that I restricted contestants from eating enough calories. I have an example of a direct written correspondence with a contestant whilst she was at home for the holidays during filming, in which I explicitly instructed her to consume 1,600 calories per day. She wrote alongside a screenshot of an alleged email between her and the contestant. Additionally, the two other emails posted here are standard communication with the show's producers and medical staff, emphasizing the ongoing priority of ensuring contestants were adequately nourished and the need to provide a steady supply of fresh food in the Biggest Loser house to guarantee ready access to calories. Regarding former contestant Rachel Fredrickson's appearance during the season 15 finale, Michaels, who previously voiced a concern over Fredrickson's controversial and dramatic weight loss at the time, shared an email she allegedly received from the chairman of NBC Entertainment at the time. Not only did I never once get the opportunity to work with Rachel Fredrickson in any capacity, I raised serious concerns both publicly and to NBC directly about contestants' health and the condition of Rachel, in particular at Biggest Loser season 15 finale. She wrote in a caption alongside an alleged email from the NBC executive at the time. In that email, he made clear that if I do not publicly condone the appearance of contestant Rachel Fredrickson on the series finale, NBC would pursue legal action against me. I resigned from The Biggest Loser shortly thereafter, she concluded. Representatives from NBC, Netflix, Harper, and Michaels did not immediately respond to Fox News' digital request for comment. The Texas House passed an aggressively partisan congressional map on Wednesday, after weeks of legislative combat, giving President Trump the gerrymander possibly 5 new Republican seats in the US House next year. After more than 8 hours of at times tense and emotional debate, the final vote, 88-52, fell along party lines. It capped bitterly partisan political wrangling with a Democratic walkout and Republican retaliation, and set off a redistricting fever that has spread from Austin to Sacramento to Albany, New York. The state Senate is expected to vote on the map as soon as Thursday evening, then send it by the end of the week to Governor Greg Abbott for his promised signature. the redrawing of Texas's map was only the first battle in what is likely to be a bruising and protracted coast-to-coast clash over redistricting between states, led by Republicans and those led by Democrats over the coming months. The California legislature is expected to vote Thursday on a newly drawn congressional map designed to flip as many as 5 Republican House seats to Democrats, a counterweight to Wednesday's vote in Texas. California's changes would then have to be approved by voters in a referendum in November. If the fight broadens significantly, the outcome of the redistricting war could help determine control in the US House of Representatives, where Republicans hold a slim majority even before a single vote is cast. In what were expected to be close midterm elections in 2026, already Mr. Trump and his allies have been looking past Texas to other Republican states, including Indiana, Missouri, and Florida. Beyond California, Democratic state leaders are looking at Illinois and Maryland, ahead of the 2026 midterms, and New York ahead of the 2028 presidential election, vowing to embark on their own mid-decade redistricting efforts for Democrats. However, the fight is proving harder. The California effort will require working around the state rules that give an independent commission responsibility for redistricting. This is why the map that is up for the passage in the state legislature there on Thursday would also have to be approved by voters. Republicans have vowed to fight California Democrats' plan at the ballot and in court. They lost a round on Wednesday when the state Supreme Court rejected a request from Republican state lawmakers to block the legislature from moving ahead with Thursday's voters. The path to passage in Texas has been far simpler despite sustained Democratic opposition. Wednesday's vote on the map had been delayed by more than 2 weeks by dozens of Democratic state representatives who left the state to halt its passage by denying the House enough members to meet. But as soon as they returned on Monday, Republican lawmakers moved swiftly to ensure its passage, rapidly approving and updating version out of 2 committees and assigning each Democrat a state police chaperone to ensure that representatives could not leave again. The underlying goal of this plan is straightforward: improved Republican political performance. Todd Hunter, a Republican state representative from Corpus Christi, said Wednesday in a speech introducing the MAP legislation, known as House Bill 4. According to the House, the US Supreme Court, we can use political performance in drawing congressional districts, he said, and that is what we've done. One Republican member from the Fort Worth area, David Lowe, wore an oversized round pen reading "Big Beautiful Map," a reference to Mr. Trump's description of the Texas redistricting. As debate began, chants and cheers could be heard through the closed doors from dozens protesting in the Capitol rotunda against the redistricting. House Bill 4 is an illegal and racially discriminatory congressional map that this body has no business passing, said Chris Turner, a Dallas area Democratic state representative. This illegal and rigged mid-decade redistricting scheme is dividing our state and our country. Republicans have revised the map that has been under consideration since it was introduced last month. They would still aim to flip the 5 seats that Mr. Trump has publicly called for. But it was reworked slightly to place additional Republican voters in the districts where Republicans already hold House seats. Please pass this map ASAP, Mr. Trump urged on social media on Monday. Thank you, Texas. With passage in the state house, the map goes to the state senate, where Republican leaders have an even stronger hand once Mr. Abbott signs it. Democrats have said they will challenge its legality. Texas will have to go to the courts, said John Wu, a Democratic state representative from Houston who led the walkout. He implored the Democratic-led states to now take action. California, New York, Illinois, Michigan, and many other states. Look at what's happening here, he said. The actions by Texas and California this week will likely narrow the battlefield control of the US House next year. A critical fight that will shape the remainder of Mr. Trump's term. Even so, with the House so narrowly divided, the expanding fight over redistricting alone is not likely to determine control of the chamber. Some of the districts being redrawn in the two states could remain competitive in the non-presidential election, even without the states most likely to redistrict: Texas, California, and Ohio. 27 House seats that were decided in 2024 by fewer than 5% points will remain in states unlikely to redraw their maps, and those 14 are held by Republicans, 13 by Democrats. Still, Texas is the biggest prize available for Republicans. Mr. Trump said tensions have been rising in the state's capital this week, when the House chamber officially opened for Wednesday's proceedings. Arriving lawmakers were greeted by an unusual sight. Several of the Democratic lawmakers were already inside after spending the night there in protest. Those lawmakers objected to being forced to sign a permission slip that linked them to a state police officer assigned to follow them. Their escort officers were a condition set by the Republican Speaker for allowing them to leave the Capitol after they returned from their walkout. One state representative, Nicole Collier of Fort Worth, refused to sign the permission slip. She slept in the brown leather chair at her legislative desk on Monday, along with two others who joined her on Tuesday. The group had grown to about half a dozen as several members tore up the slips they had signed and went into the chamber. Ms. Collier was then told by a senior Republican House member on Wednesday that she could be arrested after other female lawmakers complained that she was conducting a video call inside a bathroom in the Capitol. The call was organized by the Democratic National Committee and included Governor Gavin Newsom of California. Texas law prohibits photographing or recording a visual image of another person in a bathroom without consent. Ms. Collier abruptly left the call. The drama has been national attention, but nothing of the Democrats' actions could undo the political reality that Republicans in the Texas House outnumbered Democrats 88 to 62. 10 Democrats were recorded as absent in the vote on Wednesday. The strict attendance rules imposed by the House would expire after the passage of the map. The House Speaker, Dustin Burrows, said on Wednesday, the day's most heated moments came over the question of race and how the new map impacts districts currently occupied by black members of Congress in the Houston and Dallas areas. In Houston, the map moves the 9th congressional district held by U.S. Representative Al Green and outspoken Trump critic to an area where Republican voters predominate. Mr. Hunter and Barbara Garvin Hopkins, a Democratic state representative from San Antonio, argued over whether the black members of the House were consulted over the map. We weren't asked any questions, said Ms. Gervin Hopkins, who is black. Mr. Hunter, who is white, disagreed. The two members interrupted each other several times. Members, please try not to talk over one another, Mr. Burrows interjected at one point. You own the walkout, Mr. Hunter, said Miss Garvin Hopkins, talking loudly across the chamber that had grown otherwise quiet. Don't come into this body and say we didn't include you. You left us for 18 days. The vote on Wednesday took place during a 30-day special legislative session. The second such session called by Mr. Abbott to address redistricting and measure related to the deadly July 4th floods in the Texas Hill County. The first session expired without any action because of the Democratic walkout. No votes have taken place at the House floor related to flood recovery. That was set to be handled later after redistricting. And as the news specifically for California redistricting, the California Supreme Court will not prevent Democrats from moving forward Thursday with a plan to redraw congressional districts. Republicans in the Golden State had asked the state's High Court to step in and temporarily block the redistricting efforts, arguing that Democrats who are racing to put the plan on the ballot later this year had skirted a rule requiring state lawmakers to wait at least 30 days before passing newly introduced legislation. Put in a ruling late Wednesday, the court declined to act, writing that the Republican state lawmakers who filed the suit had failed to meet their burden of establishing a basis for relief at this time. The California legislature is set to vote on the desired redistricting plan on Thursday, which would send the bill to California Governor Gavin Newsom's desk for approval. Democratic state lawmakers in California introduced a set of bills to create new district boundaries in a way they hope would flip 5 congressional seats, a move made in response to President Trump and Texas Republicans' push to reshape 5 congressional districts in Texas. To favor the GOP, Democratic state lawmakers in California who have a supermajority in the legislature want to pass the bills immediately so they can place the proposal in front of voters in a November 4th special election. Democrats' proposal in California would try to flip 5 of the state's 9 districts currently held by Republicans and make them more friendly for Democrats. California has 52 congressional districts. The changes may require an amendment to California state constitution to override the independent commissions that currently responsible for the state's redistricting process. The battle over district lines may influence the midterm elections next year. Republicans hold only a slim majority in the House of Representatives, and they want to hold on to it. Whilst Democrats are aiming to take back the House, Newsom, a potential 2028 contender, has been leading the charge. Look, what we're doing neutralizes what's happening in Texas, Newsom told reporters Wednesday. People have this chance with this ballot, November 4th, is stand up to the rule of law, stand up for co-equal branches of government, stand up to, yes, Donald Trump, but also stand up in the spirit that defines this moment to people being bullied and people being intimidated. In a statement to CBS News, the GOP state lawmakers who sued over the redistricting plan said the Supreme Court's ruling is not the end of this fight. We will continue to challenge this unconstitutional power grab in the courts and at the ballot box. Californians deserve fair, transparent elections, not secret backroom deals that protect politicians. The statement read, "The State Assembly and Senate's Appropriations Committees advanced the redraw maps Wednesday following hearings in which both parties squared off over the redirecting plan. I want to note, for the record, that we do not have all the fiscal information that we need to make this decision," State Senator Kelly Sayato, a Republican, said during a hearing. "And we're going to do it anyway." Democratic lawmakers are blaming President Donald Trump for their decision to withdraw the maps. This started because Donald Trump went to Texas and directed Texas to engage in mid-decade redistricting. Senator Scott Wiener of San Francisco told CBS News Sacramento. Democratic strategist Steve Maveglio says California Democratic lawmakers will try to keep the messaging aimed at Mr. Trump and away from the redrawn district lines. This will be a vote against Donald Trump, Maveglio said. They don't want to talk about maps. Maps and redistricting are mind-numbing questions that voters don't understand. So it's much simpler. Do the maths. Mobilize the Democrats in the state to make this all about Donald Trump and talk about how awful he's been to the state, and to say a yes vote will try to stop him in his tracks. I started this magazine because I knew that Trump was going to change the face of America, the United States, and in turn, the world. He's erasing and rewriting history, changing and pushing boundaries, and no one is stopping him. I've combined this with astrology so that you can navigate and control your reality without fear and anxiety. So tune in each week to stay informed and prepared. I'm here for you. If you need further assistance or personalized attention, contact me through my site. Okay, so Bachelor in Paradise is taking an interesting turn because now it is a little bit more about strategy than love, which is a dangerous thing on a reality love dating show. Now, the thing is that a lot of things came out when Brian told Bailey about what Jeremy said about wanting to get Susie back, and he would propose to her on the spot. The only thing is he waited so long that it obviously looked like a motive. On pure black and white, the fact that no one else told her, that should have been the issue. However, the timing of it questioned his motives, and then he also did not seem to be in a real relationship with Parisa. He seemed to be in everything advantageously with his relationship picking. So yeah, he's a red flag, especially when he says he wants to have children that are going to be athletes. That's a lot of pressure, and to pre-plan your children's lives when you don't even, they may be into art. Like, see, I mean, I don't know, that's one thing that I don't know, I know parents do that because they want to fix what they find wrong in themselves, but what they should actually do is fix themselves before having children. Otherwise you're just going to repeat broken cycles. Anyway, yeah, so they are gone, Brian and Teresa. So is Sean and Alicia, which wasn't really that big of a thing. They weren't really doing much, and their biggest the biggest drama he caused was when he confronted Kat, and that actually worked in a very good way for Kat and Dale, because Dale was actually chivalrous and stood up for Kat, which they are showing a lot of green flags, surprisingly. I wasn't sure which way that would go, but Kat and Dale are showing, in spite of the fact that I believe that Dale is DL on a romantic level. I mean, if he's fluid and they have an agreement and it's open communication, there is nothing wrong with that. But if he is misleading her and she is open to health risks, that's the issue. Anyway, but they are showing the best signs, so they actually are my top couple right now. Dale and Kat are my top couple. They are actually very cute. Spencer and Jesse would be my number 2, but they scare me a little bit because some of the things I feel are brewing right under the surface, and they are hiding a lot. I do not feel like they are 100% being real or open with each other. I think it is very superficial at the moment, and it just rushed so quickly like that they are stuck there, and now they are afraid to break that feeling, so they cannot put the reality into it. So we'll see when a little bit of reality comes, if it can come, how that will change up the dynamic. Bailey and Jeremy are interesting because she's kind of blindly just accepting, and he is hoping to win the money, I'm guessing, to be quite honest. Andrew and Alex, I don't really see a spark there. She claims she's into him. I don't know, maybe there's something we're not seeing on the cameras. But the one that has got me a little bit twisted is Jonathan and Leia, where he keeps telling her that he just wants to be friends, but he keeps giving her these mixed signals, and then at the ceremony he kisses her. Do you see these mixed signals? Do you see how that can happen? Do you see how these men do this on purpose? He knows that he has to give her a little breadcrumb to keep her happy, to keep her there, so that he can win that money. Watch it, girls, watch it. It's right there. These are tactics that will be played on you. And Jonathan was one of my favourites. That's so disappointing. I don't know how he would respond if he found someone that he actually was romantically inclined to, but the way he's acting with Leia is revolting. He is breadcrumbing her, telling her the truth so that he can deny plausibility, and then breadcrumbing her just enough to keep her hopeful, to keep her there so that he can enjoy his holiday. Jet 2 holiday. Yeah. But it's heartbreaking what these men are doing on this show. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see what's under the surface between Jesse and Spence. Hopefully Dale and Kat can stay healthy and on balance and grow, and hopefully there's open communication, or I don't know, that's his business on that, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know how many more weeks until they have to propose and get engaged, but at this point, Dale and Kat and Jesse and Spencer, but I don't know if that would be a good idea. So we'll tune in and see what happens. And we have the friendship couples, which are easier to beat. So it was strategy. So the love couples are just there, and they are toxic. So yeah, paradise. It might. A lot of them may have just come to hook up. I don't know. But hopefully something happy comes out of this season. I'm still hopeful, because Dale and Kat surprised me a bit. So yeah, I'm starting to believe in them a little bit. So yeah, we'll see what happens next week.
Okay, we are focusing on The Perfect Match this week, Netflix. It is the premise of where they take celebrity daters from other reality shows, they put them into this one show, and they kind of do like a mixer, and they kind of chat to each other each night. It's a little bit more fast-paced, and each night they match, and they have their own rooms. They don't have a community room, and it's not an eviction, but basically if you are not selected at the end of the mixer, you leave. So it is very fast moving. They do have competitions, they do have a prize, which does make questionable motives, and also make some of them more players of a different kind. Because of the element of the money, it does offer that unhealthy aspect of, am I going to use you? Which people feel in reality, in true life, IRL, anyway. So that is a factor, but the difference in real life is that you don't necessarily, it's in real life it could be go as long as a marriage. So that's the difference there. This is a short-term thing where you can be whoever you want to be. With the competitions, that does give the possibility of bonding if it works properly. However, if not, things can just crumble up and fall apart. So that being said, the couples that came down and lasted through were Eddie and Ollie, who were from Love is Blind, one from the US and Ollie from the UK. So they already kind of knew that they had that basis of commitment. So that was a good foundation. However, when Ollie thought that Eddie had been evicted, although it was not his choice, he still accepted that reality way too easily and too quickly for my comfort. Aside from that, he does have red flags, obviously. A lot of men do, but he does have a light bit of jealousy and insecurity and possessiveness, but it's not quite to the controlling factor where it would be toxic. But again, it is also in the early stages, and we are not seeing everything on there. The only thing that I'm worried about is the whole Justine thing, and AD took him back so quickly. She didn't really make him work for it, which means there's a possible reoccurrence if a fella does something and he does not have to pay for it, or he does not feel the consequences of his actions. It is more likely that he will repeat it. Any human, animal, that's just natural. We also have Rachel, who was a former bachelorette, which was the most tragic story of them all. And surprisingly, it was a little bit heartbreaking on that one, because in my opinion, Rachel looks the best that she has ever looked in her life. And unfortunately, and this may be a controversial thing to say, is that it does come from a lot of cosmetic surgery, which a lot of times does stem from a bit of insecurity or possible body dysmorphia. Now, don't come for me, whatever you want to say, that is a basis of what happens for the self-esteem. Now, Clayton, who also was the Bachelor and who is the one who rejected her before she became the Bachelorette, was on the perfect match. Producers knew what they were doing. They are not stupid. They wanted those fireworks. But Rachel, why you say this is the third time he did that to you? Third time, one more time, third time? Really? You didn't learn the first two? I know what was going through your head. You looked so great. You think that was the reason why he treated you the way that he did, because you didn't look as good as you did. And the thing is, fellas will do bad things to hot girls. No matter how hot you are still the same girl. And I mean, I hate to say it, but in a way, it was your fault for giving him a third chance. And I know that's a controversial thing to say as well, but get smarter. But then she goes to Scott, who's like, then she's obviously unhealed. She has the trauma of a long-term relationship in this short period of time, reopening that wound. So obviously it is not going to heal as quickly as a superficial relationship that she had just met. So then she is forcing these connections, and even with Ray, I don't believe any of those were completely real. I do believe they were a bit forced, and unfortunately there are things inside of her that need healing before she's going to be able to pull the right partner, because right now she's just in an imbalance and you can see it. And unfortunately I do feel really bad for her. But no matter how much you want them, learn. Hopefully after the first time, if you have to go back a second, if you have children, if you have properties together, if you have things that are complicated to separate, that you want to try to work through it, but a third time, when you have no children, you have none of those things, that's just, you're asking for it. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah. And Madison and Freddie, given time, she's very intelligent, but she has the potential to be a crazy one. I see that in her. And he may or may not trigger that in her, so watch out, Freddie. But she's beautiful. She may be worth it, the crazy one to the hottest. Sandy and Louie, they were interesting because they let each other have their freedoms. They didn't judge each other. They didn't confine each other. They communicated. They did have a lot of healthy qualities. So that one is probably, if I had to pick, the healthiest connection of them all. I don't know if it would last outside. I think it could, because Louis seemed to be a little bit more into her than she was into him. So that's usually how you want the dynamic to work. Now, then we come to Lucy and Daniel, who are the ones who won the show. However, it seems a pattern in these reality romantic shows that they reward the least healthy connection. And Lucy and Daniel were the most beautiful pair, which made them the most exciting and which you want to cheer for them to stay together. However, Daniel was exhibiting a lot of toxic behavior. And if you don't look closely and if you don't know what to look for, you will miss it. Aside from the fact that he is probably emotion and energy vampire, he has this way of training her behavior where he will shame her to the point of tears. Then when she tries to escape him, he will force her to let him cheer her up from the actions that he caused because he had shamed her to begin with. But what happens is, in her brain, he is the reason for her happiness. He cared enough to get her out of that mood. So what that does is, she never wants to do that action that made him have to hurt her and make her sad. She wants to keep that goodness, so she won't do that action again. That is how he trains her. I'm going to repeat that one more time, and if you see this pattern in your own relationship, stop it, okay? What he'll do is he'll say, what you did embarrassed me, or what you did is wrong. He'll shame her first. He'll tell her that what she said was wrong, what she did was wrong, how she thought was wrong, how he couldn't believe she didn't know it was him. Small things become large. And he will beat at her until she is in tears. Then when she tries to leave him so that she can calm down and clear her energy, which is what you by right can do, he stops her and he forces her to let him cheer her up from what he just put her through. Do you see with that? So he makes her cry, then cheers her up. Makes her cry, then cheers her up. But because he told her the behavior that he made her cry over, she will not do that again, because imprinted in her head now is that behavior is bad. I want to keep him happy. This is the behavior that he wants me to be, that is required for him to be happy. So this is what I'll do. So he trained her. Little by little, he'll put her in a box and he'll isolate her and he'll train her and he'll take away all the behaviors that he doesn't like. So look for that cycle. Break it, escape it. Do not be trapped by it, okay? Do not let them shame you. Do not let them force you to be the savior when they are the villain. And yes, the villain and the hero are the same, but that is a different circumstance of the heart. And yeah, she's being victimized, and it's going to turn into an abusive relationship. I know that could be a controversial thing to say, but that is basically, he's grooming her for that type of a relationship. And a lot of times girls that are that beautiful end up being that in those type of relationships with fellas that are that attractive, because they don't want to leave each other because the passion is so hot. But yeah, we'll see how things go. They did win, and they were there from the beginning, and I do not doubt their feelings. It is just not, there are loads of red flags popping off with Daniel. And even though Lucy tried to break free, which means she clocked the behavior, she knows it, she sees it, but she can't escape it. And that is the cycle that a lot of women get caught up in, because in their head they're being gaslighted and they start to doubt that it's actually their partner that is creating these emotions and these circumstances and this push and pull within them that causes them to behave. So do not accept that behavior. Recognize it, clock it, break it in the cycle. If you have to, leave. Because anyone that is going to put you through that emotional turmoil, which it has been noted that is done on purpose by a lot of males, unfortunately, which is why you have to be smarter and you have to protect yourself and you have to stand your ground 10 toes down and do not settle for behavior that you do not deserve. So yes, that is why I bring you these shows that you can watch on your own to see the examples there live, to see how it is acted out and see those patterns in your own relationships and stop them. Also, what is healthy, what to look for and what to accept. So I hope this helped. But perfect marriage, it was a perfect example of things that you should not accept. So it's good for learning. So check it out on Netflix, Perfect Match. It was a great season. It was very entertaining and loads of beautiful people. So, that's the great thing. Thank you, Netflix.
Okay, this week Big Brother has been the most exciting, and that is because Rachel Riley is head of household. She does not disappoint ever. Her straightforward nature, her personality, the way she tells it like it is. Ironically, you would think that she would be toxic red flags, but actually she has so many green flags. Her words, her actions align. She may deliver them in an eccentric way, but she says it and she does it. She is consistent, she is loyal, she cares, she's strong. There are so many green flags with Rachel. And she's so funny. She's like her dramatic moments are absolutely adorable. She's so fun to watch. I truly hope she goes far, if not to the jury, as Morgan said, which got her a seat on the block. But if Rachel, I seriously, I would want Rachel to win. I truly believe she deserves it. She's amazing. And the thing is, I just hope she doesn't trust Mickey or Ashley. I really think she should kick Ashley to the curb now. I think she should stick with Keanu, Ava, and that's it. I think she should stick with Keanu, Ava as her two mains, and then keep side alliances with no one else. Then no one else is trustworthy. Everyone in there is an idiot. Is Kelly really a lawyer? No, not Kelly. Ashley. Is Ashley really a lawyer? She is dumb as bricks. The fact that she told Rachel she needed to make things right by putting Mickey on the block, she almost basically shamed her. Like, she's like, these people just, they're not intelligent people, and I don't understand. And it breaks my heart because the melanated women in this season are both crazy. Mickey's talking about how, I don't know why she put me up there when she was going to do the same to her. Rachel's just smart enough to take the first move because she is a genius, and you shouldn't F with her because she'll get you. Now, Ashley and Mickey and Morgan, they all need to go. They all need to go. I'm sorry. Normally I root for them, but they all need to go. Kelly, she's got a big mouth. You can't trust her. Only tell her the things that you want to get around. Misinformation. That's what you tell Kelly. Lauren, unfortunately, is easily swayed because she's trying to be noble. And she needs to realise you cannot necessarily be noble in the Big Brother house. If you want to get your game, you have to use people, unfortunately. And to be honest, Vince thinks he's a ladies' man and he has his fingers in so many pots. He's basically got a final two with Morgan. He did have a final two with Kelly, and then he had one with, like, he's going with all these girls. He's showing characteristics of being an emotional vampire. If you got into a relationship with him, he could possibly do it as a friend as well. But he does seem to be using these female relationships to advance his game, which we'll see how far that goes. Hopefully they clock him on that. But the fact that Lauren had to save him, I wasn't really a fan of that. That it wasn't the time. Now, Kelly may be able to sneak under the radar if she plays it right, because she was making herself a big threat, but now Keanu's kind of going up there. So maybe if she plays the cards right, the house will forget how many competitions she's won, and the energy between her and Vince will calm down just a little bit. Now that Lauren has made this grand gesture with him, that's going to be an interesting dynamic. Then we have Riley and Catherine, and that's an interesting dynamic because that looks like it could go sideways very quickly, because Riley has stalker serial killer eyes and he could become obsessive and crazy a little bit. And the fact that he does this thing, and watch out ladies, or anyone in any relationship, when for no reason they will make themselves a victim so that you have to comfort them and possibly make decisions or change your behavior, force you into being what they want you to be to make them feel better. That is what Riley is doing to Catherine. So far, she is holding strong to her boundaries and who she is, so I commend her for that.
But I do see some red flags, I do see some toxic energy, and hopefully, because they have to stay in a house together, hopefully that does not blow up. Hopefully she does not get the ick and he does not get the crazy, because he's got those eyes, they're scary. And the fact that she is okay with that and okay with him and into him, okay, yeah, hopefully. I mean, unfortunately, your domestic partner is the first suspect when things happen to you, because they are usually the guilty ones, so I'll just leave it at that. I wish them all the best, and I hope nothing, I hope it's all peaceful and love. But as for the game, yes, they are kind of showmance that is flying under the radar. No one is really firing at showmances. Although there were a potential 3 at the beginning, only 1 seems to be taking seed and blossoming, and that's Riley and Catherine, and Riley showing some crazy red flags. Hopefully Catherine can ease them or neutralize them, or I don't know. We'll see if it continues, because being in that house, sometimes your emotions get heightened and you need reassurance. That could also be a possibility, but in an everyday normal day relationship, those are the signs to look for. If they are for no reason making you feel bad about something that you didn't even do, just so that they can get you to behave some way or give them a declaration of something, don't be forced or pressured or feel that you need to do that to make them happy, because that is a tactic. Fortunately Catherine has been strong, and she said, it takes me longer, I warm up, she explained it, and that pacified him. But this was only the first time. It gets taken up a degree each time. So yeah, if you see those patterns in your relationship, there are things that you either block it, clock it, eradicate it, or leave. Yeah, and if you need help with that, contact me through my site. Okay, so this week's recommendation is a little bit different. This week recommendation is Night Always Comes, with leading actress Vanessa Kirby. And the great thing about this film is it does have, in spite of it having some adult themes, some very strong adult themes, so be mindful. It does have a PG-13 rating, I believe, but there is substantial amount of adult love themes, drug themes, a little bit of violence, things of that nature, some stealing, some crimes. So just be mindful of that. It could possibly be a date film. It is a little bit exciting. I do find that it was extremely entertaining. It is one of those kind of like night quest films where they have a certain amount of money that they have to get by the next day, and I know that's a premise for a lot of movies. And then the things that they have to do to get that money, it's basically that one of those. She does happen to be a lady of the night, so some of those things she had to do to get, without giving it away. It does have some comedy themes in there, and it is an example of what I call how the hero and the villain can be one and the same. I am a strong believer in that. I do believe that people are a product of their programming and their environment, and not what is right and wrong. I believe that people behave based on the behaviors that they have been around and the environments that they're in. If they do not seek to learn different, they don't have different to repeat. The way the brain works is it repeats what it knows. Children don't necessarily want to become their parents, even if they have toxic behaviors, but because that's what they saw. And if they do not get a new program, if they do not get around a new environment, they are destined to repeat that behavior. Which is why the hero and the villain can be the same person. You can't say it's right or wrong unless you're a politician. But it's programming. If an abuser becomes an abused becomes an abuser, etc. It's not because you want to be that type of a person. It's not that you grow up and you say, I want to be evil. You don't know any different. Your brain just gives you certain proclivities because it sees something, it thinks that is what you want, especially if you're replaying it in your head, and then you act it out. Especially, that's why the harder you fight against a behavior, the stronger it will be in you, because you're constantly thinking about it. So, and you're focused on it. So it's one of those films where, you know, the hero and the villain are the same, and it's kind of like, you know, you do bad things, but you have no choice because this is the circumstances you have, and it's all you know, and you have to survive. You know, it kind of blurs that line, and I like things like that. I like themes like that. I like thought-provoking things like that, where you can love the villain, you can hate the hero. You know, all of those things are possible, just depending on your perspective. And it's interesting about the themes of money, and it shows why money is called evil. And it's not that money is evil, it's what you're willing to do for said money is evil. Money, if used properly, can be security, protection, it can be advancement, it can be joy, it can be an experience, it can be so many things. It's not just physical paper, which is imaginary, it's energy. And that energy is not evil, it's what you do to get it. And unfortunately, this matrix, this system, is made so you're chasing it for all of these things that everyone has and that you feel you need, because that's what the matrix programs you for. That's what society and films and television tell you. You need to be a good person to have a great life experience. But in my opinion, people say they want FU money. They go and they make all this money so they can tell everyone to F off. In my opinion, FU money is giving yourself a circumstance where you don't need money, so no one can control you with it. So it's FU money, because I have everything I need. People that go off grid and homesteads and things like that, that's my dream. It's you're not dependent on money. No one can take away electricity from you. No one can take water away from you. No one can take food away from you. Toxic. No one can do all these things that these psychological games of they play to make you behave. And that's what they use with children and all these things, fear and taking things away from you to make you behave. And that is what the ultimate power is when you can say FU money. Not when you get FU money, but when you can say FU money. That is my definition of FU money. A little tangent. But yeah, my ideal lifestyle is off-grid. Yeah, with solar panels, a well, and my own garden and all those things, self-reliant. But yeah, that's a bit of a tangent. We'll have a, but yeah, it's Night Always Comes with Vanessa Kirby. It is a great entertaining, thought-provoking film that is something that I think you should check out and pay attention to the deeper meanings, and think about what FU money means. Is it FU money that I'm going to get, or is it FU money, I don't need you? Which one do you subscribe to? Leave it in the comments.
Don't be shy in welcoming Berol Galalani to the stage.
It's hard for me to date because I get the ick pretty quick. If their smile has a noise, don't need to hear that crackle in the middle of the night. Nightmares. If their saliva is opaque, what did you do to get it that way, sir? I'm not going to put that bacteria in my mouth for anyone. If I can smell your breath from a meter away, smell and taste go hand in hand, enough said. If you show up with torn or ill-fitting clothes, presentation shows importance. How would you dress up for an interview? Well, it's an audition for my time and attention. If you can't afford a wardrobe, then you can't afford me, sir. If you sweat too much when we're sitting still, I don't like body fluid on me until the climax. If your hair has thick flakes that are all over your shirt, if this head is crusty, I know the other one is worse. And that's the one, the main reason why I'm here.
Yes.
Can we start a good hygiene app?
Yes.
And have it be by referral only? And then maybe I'll be able to find someone I'd be willing to keep.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much. and check out the latest from Aglorev Entertainment for all of your level up needs.